This is the plaintiff, Tequila Fletcher. She says the defendant worked for her selling hair extensions, and due to her carelessness, a customer used a stolen credit card, racked up a big bill, and now she's out a whole heap of money. The girl needs to own up to what she did, and she wants the $3,227 returned. This is the defendant, Sheila. She says she did ring up one sale for $1,000 and the card turned out to be bogus. But how's she responsible? An employer never goes after an employee for something like this. They go after the thief. Bottom line, she did everything she was trained to do and therefore owes nothing. She is accused of a credit card fiasco.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant sold hair extensions for her, rang up the sale improperly, cost her thousands. The defendant says the employee never pays when mistakes like this are made. It's the case of Roots lawsuit.
Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Tequila Fletcher and Roots to Ends Hair Studio. You were suing your former employee, I take it?
Correct.
Okay, for $3,227 in fraudulent transactions, where she sold extensions to people and all those charges were reversed.
Correct.
Because it was a stolen card.
Correct.
Tell me what's going on.
Well, it starts out that November 2011 was the very first credit card transaction, which happened in the amount of $336.
Now, she's your employee.
Correct.
All right. You own a salon?
Yes.
All right. And you have these products, and what are the products?
They're hair extensions.
All right.
So go ahead.
From my understanding, for what she told me, was that she was purchasing some hair for a coworker from her second job, which is at Verizon Wireless.
With whose credit card?
I'm assuming that it was the person who was purchasing the hair.
Well, whose credit card was it?
It was her card.
Whose card?
My ex coworker, because I don't longer
From
work
some
there.
other place.
From my second.
And why was it a fraud then? It turned out that it wasn't her card.
I asked her about it.
Didn't you see the name on the card? Did you have the card with you?
Yes, I had the card at hand.
You didn't just punch in a number she gave you?
No.
So you had physically a card with you and you swiped it?
No, the back was scratched.
The magnetics was
so
you
damaged,
punched it in.
so I just punched it in.
And then as it turns out, the card number you punched in belonged to another human? Not the person
I didn't
who's your
realize
friend?
that until after Merchant Services have contacted her.
So you didn't bother to read the
me.
card? It turned out to be a stolen number,
I
right?
matched the name with the ID. So.
You did?
And it was just a coworker that I just say hi.
So
and
you
bye
don't even
to
know
in
your
my
friend's
base.
real name?
She's not my friend. She was my coworker.
So she was going by a certain name, and then the card the name on the card is the same name she's going by. And then, as it turns out, you get informed by the credit card company that transaction's getting challenged because the real owner of that card says, "I did not make that purchase." Which means, if what you're saying is true, that you don't really know that person very well because that wasn't even their name. They were using the name on the credit card that they'd stolen.
Right.
Okay, let's put that one to the side. That's problem number one. Now we have December 10th. On December 10th, there are see, I have to figure out whether these are just tough breaks and they end up on the owner or whether this is starting to get smelly. The next few questions are going to be all about passing a smell test. Now it's December 10th. There's 2 fraudulent transactions according to your lawsuit.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes,
Show
ma'am.
me those 2 transactions and the paperwork pertaining to both of them. And those are both on the 10th?
Yes, ma'am.
And so as it turns out, we find out about a week or 2 later, you find out that those 2 charges are being reversed because they are fraudulent transactions.
Correct.
Do you know whether she typed the numbers in?
It was manually done.
Manually done.
Meaning there was no card swipe.
Okay, so this happens on December 10th. Okay? And who's Lynette?
She is one of the coworkers at
Oh, another coworker from the place that you used to work.
Yep.
I know.
So if the employee kind of knows that this credit card is bogus, but lets it go through, is the employee responsible to the employer for the cost? What do you think?
Yes, because if she knows what's going on, why isn't she doing anything about it?
Love your hair, by the way. What do you think?
I think so too. If they know that they are doing a crime and they're following through with it.
Fair enough. And you get the last word.
I agree. It's wrong.
It's wrong, and the employee pays.
Correct.
Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
Let's talk about December 13th, where there's 2 more fraudulent charges. And these 2 more fraudulent charges are...
Actually, the transaction date was December 12th, 2011.
All right.
There was a charge of $660.
Oh, they're getting bolder. $660.
$660, and the other one was for $465.
Goodness gracious, over $1,000 now in hair. You've handed me all that paperwork. And again, the number was typed in?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the number was typed in, not a credit card present, or you say, once again, the misfortune that the magnetized strip didn't work. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so your coworker physically comes in on day 1, makes 2 separate transactions, and then comes in again on day 2?
No, that's a different girl. Because I tell them...
But it's the same credit card.
I'm sorry?
You heard me. You know that the second girl, according to you, it's the second girl.
Right.
And because I asked you, didn't you find it fishy the same person came and did 4 transactions? You say, no, that was the second girl. Well, you know that the card then, you didn't check that the card was hers.
I checked the names and that was it. I didn't check the 16
because that's a friend of yours, a coworker, because you're not in on this, right? You're not a scammer. So you know that your friend Lynette from work already bought things 2 days. Yesterday, she bought 2 things. So you're saying another friend from work came in. You know she's not Lynette Williams, who you say is the name on the credit card. So if you know she's not Lynette Williams, why do you let her use a card that says Lynette Williams?
The cards that they showed me match the name of the person that I was speaking to.
Clearly not. See, because it can't be possible that on both days, the cards match their names, and yet it's the same card.
Like I said, it was I was taking care of my own clients. It was busy that day.
So then you lied when you said a moment ago, when you testified under oath a moment ago, that the card matched the person's name, you were wrong.
I'm sorry?
When you testified a moment ago under oath, that the card, you checked to make sure that the name on the card was the name of the person, you were wrong.
Like I said, I didn't know that it was the same card being used.
Or you didn't know you get caught that it would be the same card being used?
No, it's not about me getting
tell me what
caught or
happens
anything
next.
like
That's
that.
December 10th. Now we've got December 12th, and we have now a good almost $2,000 being charged up on fraudulent charges, all on the same credit card.
Well, actually...
all by friends of hers from somewhere where she works otherwise.
Well, actually, this one from December 26th of 2011 was a
Now let's talk about December 26th of 2011.
There was a charge of $670. There was a charge of $428. And there was a charge of $214. And all of these...
bolder and bolder.
All of these were done on the same credit card.
Tell me about these 3 transactions on December 26th.
I'm trying to remember the names of the girls,
You want some
but
help?
I don't have the...
Okay, one of them is Clarissa. Then there's the next transaction on that same credit card is Nikki for $428. Do you know who that is?
No, she was again another referral.
Okay. And, look at the third one. Who's the third one that you said?
Myself.
Yourself! Go on.
For that one.
Go on. Yourself on the same stolen credit card.
Like what I explained to Tequila Fletcher that day, I never personally use her credit card machine, but I do purchase the extensions myself. I mixed up the... I don't even remember what happened, but I did pay her my amount that I owed her in cash, so that really shouldn't even be an issue right now.
Really?
Yes.
I'll be the judge of whether it's relevant or not. You see? Because I find it fascinating that someone who professes to be just an employee, this is just a tough break, business owner, how dare you come after me? I'm just the employee. I'm not involved in this scam. Actually used the stolen credit card herself. Wow, you're not as swift as I thought you were. You expect me to ignore this?
I already paid for that.
Do you expect
cash.
me to ignore the incredible smoking gun that this is? That you, after a series of stolen credit card purchases throughout the course of that month during the holidays, then used a stolen credit card yourself that had 2 other transactions worth $1,000-something to purchase your own hair, to steal, not purchase, your own hair on that very same stolen credit card. What was your explanation for that?
I told her that I don't know how it got mixed up. Because I never used.
What got mixed up?
I lost my own personal credit card.
Where's the transaction for your own personal credit card if you used your own personal credit card and didn't use the stolen one?
I told her it was a mistake, and I went in and paid for it cash myself, didn't I?
Who cares? What do you think anyone with connected brain cells thinks about you at this very moment? What do you think they think?
I really don't know. I'm not a mind
Would you
reader.
like me to? Okay, then let me not make you read my mind. Let me tell you what is on my mind. I think you're a thief. I think it couldn't be clearer that you're a thief. It started to become a little clear about a week earlier, but now there could be no doubt that you are a scam artist and a thief.
No.
Who figured out that in fact, you and your buddies, who apparently are also thieves, if there are buddies, these people may not even exist. They may all be stolen credit card numbers she has from other transactions somewhere else. Do you even know if any of these, if these card numbers were used at your salon at any other time?
I don't know.
You might be interested in checking that out, because these may just be numbers, all right? That she's gotten through selling your stuff, and then makes up names and has this whole elaborate story about other people she worked with, and they may not be. They may just be numbers she keeps in her pocket, and then she uses them to get her all this hair that she's buying, $3,000-something worth of hair, which I assume she resold. That might be what you find out, that these 3 credit card numbers were, in fact, cards from customers that actually came to your place. That's my uneducated guess after 17 years in law enforcement, 10 of them as a prosecutor. Please. Let me explain something to you. In a civil case, she does not have to prove, beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt, that you are guilty. That is saved for the police in a criminal case. In my case, all she has to prove is that by a preponderance of the evidence, that it is more likely than not that you were in on it. Just so we're clear, and convinced beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt that you were in on it. And it's not just the frequency with which that happened, bolder and bolder each day, but the fact that one of your very own purchases was on the stove. That's how bold you got and stupid. And you definitely should follow up with the police. Verdict for the plaintiff.
Well, the defendant doesn't look very good from what happened in the courtroom. You got busted and you got blown out of there on the ruling. You have a moment here to try to correct whatever image is damaged.
I'm not a thief. I make money. Like, I always had a regular job. I do hair. I do what I'm supposed to do.
You can have a regular job and still steal.
No, I don't steal.
Well.
I buy what I want to buy. Mm-hmm. I don't steal. I have no reason to.
Well, all the testimony in there piled up on you. That's what it looks like.
I mean, that's what it looks like, but this is what it is. I do not steal. I don't have to steal, and I purchase what I want to purchase.
All right. All right. Head right around this way, okay? Right down there.
This way.
If you would.
Well, I'll bring you back. I'll bring you back to this spot.
All right. So come on in here. What about this outcome here? How'd you get yourself into this mess?
Yeah.
Why don't you pay attention to what's going on?
You know what? She was a friend of mine, and I trusted her. And, I'm just glad that it's over.
You were friends for how long?
Over 7 years.
7 years. Mm-hmm. So how shocked are you to wind up in court having to sue her over what just
very
went
shocked.
down?
Very, very
kind of
shocked.
a judge of character, are you?
Yeah.
I
Harvey?
got to tell you, I think the plaintiff should follow up with the cops and get the defendant prosecuted. With things like this is why credit card interest rates are so high. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.